Hi, in this video I will show you how to put together the Fall Pumpkin Trio, which is an SVG file from Simply Crafty SVGs. So with this particular file there are 3 different shaped pumpkins. They all go together the same way. So here's the largest one and the smallest one. So I'm only going to show you how to put the medium sized one together because they all are the same. There are some things that are sized differently. So for example, the large and medium, the panels on the top and bottom are the same size, as well as just this top panel. For this small one, the shorter squatty, this is a little bit wider, and this is larger as well. So it's a real simple thing. It's just a decor piece where you have different sized pumpkins, as we've seen. So we're going to put the medium one together, and I put a little raffia on the top. And also, all 3 of these stems are the same exact size. So there's no need to worry about that. Of course, the panels are all different size. So let's go ahead and put together the medium size. Then you'll see them all together when we're done. So here is, this panel will go right here. So we can go ahead and add that there. So that's a real simple thing to do first. So remember, you're going to have 3 of these if you do all 3 pumpkins. You could do one if you wanted to. But the smallest one, the squattiest one I should say, happens to have a larger top piece and a larger bottom piece as well. So I'm just going to add glue around the edge. You could do to the back of that piece because there's a little border on the inside. So you just want to add it to the edge. So again, all 3 of these go together the same way, so I'm only going to show you one. So we're going to put that aside. Let's go ahead, we won't do the pumpkin quite yet. Let's just do the stems. So all 3 stems are the same size. So you want to go ahead and fold them. Fold it like this. So this is the top of the stem. Fold those tabs in, and you're going to fold, there's 2 folds down here. When you fold them down naturally, just down like a mountain fold, we're just going to fold them back a little bit. So you want to fold this one, this little tab, back, because that's going to glue to the, help us attach it to that little top panel that we just, this piece right here. The medium and the large have the smallest top piece, so the tabs are sized appropriate accordingly, so because the edges are not very thick. I find folding the tab down and then up works better. That's just me. So it kind of flares out to the bottom, that's the reason. And then just making sure all these side tabs that we're going to glue. So we're just going to glue these on the inside here. Don't want it that wet. So make sure you don't get glue on your, try to keep glue off this because that's just, you don't want to see the glue. So I start at the top tab. Just line that edge up to the tab fold. So this would be cute, just a quick little piece, and it flares out the bottom, so I'm kind of pulling this out when I line this up. But this is a little piece you could put on just a quick fall decor. You could use the same paper as designed, or you could put 3 different pattern papers on the pumpkin. It's up to you. You could add a bow to the top, you could add raffia like I did. I just wanted something out there as a quick way to decorate for fall. Normally I have a little stance where I won't do anything. I try not to do anything that doesn't have purpose, like a lantern or a box. But I guess it has purpose if it's a decoration piece. I just thought about that, and you think about the, this is not a new idea, but I just wanted to see what I could do with the shapes and just put something a little simpler together that maybe a lot of people could do that might be interested in just doing a quick project like this. So I'm just lining up, and it's big enough for you to get a finger in there. And if you can't, like here, I have the tabs folded down. So remember, you're going to do 3 of these if you're going to do the 3 sizes. I'm just going to reach in with my fine tip applicator, which is I used my art glitter glue with. Just going to carefully line it up. And if for some reason at this point, because I have a pretty thick finger here, you could use something like this, which is something I use all the time, which is a wooden chopstick. And that can become what you apply pressure against if you can't get your finger in there. But then of course I can get that last piece. So I'm going to match it up. I inked it a little bit. I can match it up to the other 2 I already did. Just kind of gives it a little bit of a distressed look. And kind of hides if you have a messy edge. If for some reason you got a little glue on the edge or something, it's nice because it kind of does that too. Now we can take this and we're going to, you just go through the bottom, slide it through. Let's just add glue to one tab. We're going to fold it back and glue to the back of this panel. I'm just making sure that this edge is lined up to the inside fold here. If it's off a little bit, it's not a big deal. This is meant to be kind of a rustic type of a quick project, quick 3D project. So I did the other side, get it in place, and then these other 2 tabs just go down pretty quickly. That's ready to go once we have it, the rest of it together here. So now we'll put that aside. So here are the pumpkin pieces. So it's a square, but it's a rounded square. So it kind of looks like a pumpkin, but makes it easier to put together. Here are the panels that we'll put on, but we'll put on after we put this together. The way this goes together is we're just going to fold it and all the score lines. Showing you how, excuse me. I had a little bit of cough there. So this is the bottom, the one with the big tabs the bottom, and then the small tabs the top. So this will eventually glue on the edge of that. So let's go ahead and get the rest of these folded, and then we'll put them together. So the only difference is the shape for the large and the small one, but essentially they all have score lines like this. Make sure you get that. It's hard to get that top one sometimes small. But you want to go ahead and fold it on the score lines for all the sizes. And then you'll put it together the way that I show you here. And it doesn't matter, it's a different shape. It's the same process. So what we'll start by doing is just, when you do shapes like this, I like to anchor the top. I like to go from top to bottom normally. So I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to add glue to this first tab. What I'm going to do is take this other piece, line this edge up with the tab fold in that first section. So just line it up. Make sure that we line up the score lines as well. Let's get it anchored. And once you get it anchored in place and it's secure, you can go ahead and continue to glue the rest of the tabs on the inside. So if you're skilled at this, if you do a lot of these, then it actually is faster. You get used to it. What helps is that you have these scores, and it helps you guide the edges down. So I have a little glue on my fingertips. So I go to the next one, line it up, and I use my thumb to kind of make sure that the edge is lined up with that tab fold. Depending on the size of it, like the larger one, you have to flip it around in your hand maybe to get under, because I'm applying pressure against the tab inside as I line it up. And then on to the next tab down. And then you just keep on going down. And when you get down to this bottom one, you want to kind of angle it down to line it up. So they only have 4 panels because it's, like I said, a rounded square in a way. Kind of looks round, but it's not. So here's a different way. I still will anchor the first one, but it is possible to do them all at once. So just pushing them down so they don't get attached when I anchor that first one, because that first one is the key to getting everything lined up. If you don't get that first one lined up, things go off just a little bit. Most times it's not a big deal if it's off a little bit. But, oops. So get that lined up. And depending on how quickly your glue dries, so I'm using the art glitter glue. And this is American Crafts textured cardstock. Oops. So the key to putting these things together is that you just kind of have to get it in your hand the way it feels comfortable to you. So if that means flipping it around, then you need to do that, and because you can reach in easily. The time that it becomes harder to reach in is when you're to the last part to close it up. And since this is only 4-sided, we're almost there. So make sure you hold that bottom piece in place, and then of course it looks like this on the inside. So if you don't hold these in place long enough to adhere, they will pull away a little bit. So that is an issue you can have. When I get impatient, that happens to me. So I guess it's best not getting impatient, but it's not going to stop. I'm still going to be impatient. That's like taking a basic part of me out of me. So if you prefer, like I said, just to anchor that first one and then add glue afterwards, that's okay too. But it's perfectly doable. Once you get the hang of it, the biggest thing is not to move on before this one is in place, because if you move on before that, then you'll pull it out of place. And I have a little glue on my fingertips. Fortunately, we have panels that are going to cover that area, so we won't see it. So I don't have to worry too much about that. So I need to get it in a position that's good for me, so I can reach in. And as I go down each edge, apply pressure, my hand inside there as well. So I'm just applying pressure on the inside at the same time, and then keep on going. Okay, so the last part, when you close it up, I'm not going to put glue on it yet. I'm going to flip them in, fold them in a little bit, And when you go like this, you can go from top to bottom, but if you find it difficult, you can always anchor the top and then the bottom. But for this one, I think top to bottom works fine because there's enough room to reach in and adhere. Sometimes when you have one that's more round or a hexagonal or 6-sided or 8-sided, it's harder to reach in to adhere the tabs. So we're gonna just start at the top, kind of pushing it in, lining it up, just like we did with the other ones. The difference is, of course, we don't want these to hit the edge before, we want them to get in the right place. So I just kind of gently push down as I'm still reaching in from the top. And that's probably going to be the extent of how far I can get in with my little stubby fingers. Then I can start matching them up. So this is where it gets handy sometimes to go to the bottom first, go the opposite way. So you might have to apply a lot of pressure before you get them adhered, but so that last one I glued before it was. Might as well show you what can happen. So we're going to fix that. It's fixable. I wasn't going at the right angle down there. So now get it back. I'm just going to make sure that I have enough pressure so they're not popping up and I can look inside. And the other thing is since it is kind of square-ish, you can push something in there to apply pressure against the table. It just has a little round to it, so. Oops. But be careful you don't pull that. So now that we have this together, that's the medium one, we don't want to put the bottom piece on yet until we put the panels on. So we're just going to go ahead and curl it. You could do this on the edge of a table if you like, however you want to. I just do it with my fingertips. I have small hands too, so it's doable. Just give it a little curl to get it trained so it's easier to put it on there. You don't want to put too pronounced of a curve because it's just kind of a slight one, but mine's a little bit. If you do, you want it to pop out, you can do it that way. And for this one, we're just going to add glue to the top and bottom, so it's going to poof out a little bit. So we're going to add it like right below that little fold line there, down there, give it a rounder look. So we'll do that for all four. So when I'm adding glue, I'm only adding it to the top and the bottom. We're just going to line this up, smaller part on the top, right below the tab fold there. And then we're just going to pull it down, get it lined up with the bottom piece here. So you're going to see the edge just a little bit, but these are meant to be put together quickly. They're not like really long-term, really extensive 3D, but more of a kind of a beginner 3D project. So we'll go ahead and finish putting these on, and then we'll add the top and bottom pieces. So now that we have the panels, you can see that they just kind of bow out here a little bit to give it more rounded look. We'll go ahead and add this top piece. So we're just going to add glue on these tabs. And I'm going to have my chopstick handy in case I need to apply pressure inside. It's going to be a little bit difficult because of this, because of the stem. So if you have them up just a little bit and just line them up. Just line them up on the tabs. You might want to start with one and then squish in the other ones if you need to. So I'm kind of pushing it in to line it up. So get it in place here. So once you have it in place, you can apply pressure that way. You can see you can go ahead and add any decoration like a ribbon on the top. Let's go ahead and add that bottom piece now. So you can see inside what it looks like. So if you needed to, you could go in here and while you're holding the top, apply additional pressure with a tool like this, like a little. This is a handy tool. If you can just get an extra wooden chopstick and put it in your arsenal, it'll help to get to small places. So the last thing is just to put the bottom piece on. So you could just put it all on at once, or you could just anchor one tab. So if you want to do it like you did the top, you can, or you can just basically, oops, it's not easy to hold because we have you could take just one tab, line this up. So there's other ways to do this. So you can do them all at once, like I said. If you want to get one kind of anchored for you, do that and just fold it over. And again, you kind of want to move in the sides, move it around, get it lined up. It doesn't have to be perfect, we just want to get it glued. And you want to just lightly rub the tabs. Then we can just do that. So then you can just add whatever you want. So we have these three, and you can see this is I'm going to put them sideways. Make sure that's good and secure. So, you know, you can arrange them like this on the table. I'm going to add a little raffia bow to the top of that one. That's it, but it would be cute with different, if you wanted to, even though the file is one color, like I said, this is meant to be simple file, you could put 3 different pattern papers or 2 in 1, just to give some contrast. It would be fun. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give me a little thumbs up below and or subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching, and until next time.